Boom, boom, how's it going? And welcome to M5 Property Addicts, where we talk about anything and everything around property. And whenever you see me, your boy, TJ, Tarai Jack, I'm always hanging out with someone else who is more special than I've got. He is more intelligent than I am. Boom! And that guy there, Dumisani, he took the test of town planning, and I haven't done that yet, and I'm not going to do it. Why? Because he is on my team. And I don't know so many things about town planning, but he does. And that's why me and him, we hang out together. But together, we're coming out straight to you on your phone, on your laptop, wherever you are watching us from. And we bring you the gospel of town planning. Today, we want to talk about road closures. But before we do that, let's welcome Dumisani. Dumisani, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What's the other ones? Well, we can, yeah,
Yes.
those ones, all of them, we can greet you. But how's it
Yeah,
going?
I'm good. I'm good. We are still doing town planning strong and we are making sure we do it to the best of our ability.
Good, good. Dumisani, for as long as I have lived in the metro city, I'm one of those guys that was privileged that from a young from a young from a young childhood, yeah, from a young childhood, I've always stayed in the metro cities, and one of the topics that I've always seen as a hot topic, especially in the suburbs, is around road closures. And from time to time, the local newspapers they are talking heavily around it. There are some that are pro it, and there are some that are against it. And in my view, I don't know. I'm in between. I have seen in some areas whenever I'm looking property for some property deals, I get to a road closure and I'm like, okay, but GPS says I should go straight here, but it's closed and it's locked and there is no guard or anything like that. What the hell, right? So what should I do? But let's talk about why would people actually want to do road closures? Because the council has gone out there to create those roads, but then you've got the neighborhood that then closes the road. I mean, are these people exercising their power to be greater than the council? Like, how does that work?
Okay, so the issue of the road closure in South Africa has been mainly triggered by um, crime, where
Right.
people believe in order to avert or in order to reduce crime, certain roads might need to be closed. And you will see in most of the so-called older neighborhoods, there's a lot of boom gates and roads that are closed. And so they are trying to contain themselves and also try to put other people when they have access to say they cannot just enter anywhere and go out anywhere. So they are trying to say we'll have a certain
Mm.
access point where everyone comes in and out because we can then monitor and that can assist us in terms of reducing or also eliminating crime if it's possible to eliminate it. However, there's procedures that are followed. Council also plays a role. The
But
normal
to be honest, before
citizens.
you go on there, so why don't those people just move into estates like me? Like I live in an estate, I've got one gate, and like why, like that doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah. To a certain extent, I think because we believe that everyone has a certain taste.
Sure,
I would
sure.
love to still have my big plot and
Mm-hmm.
not pay rates and also levies, for an example,
Yeah,
or
but you're
not be
going to pay for it anyway because now you're going to employ security and you're going to close, so you're going to pay for it anyway. But
yes.
no, 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 no. But on your plot you don't have Big Brother like I've got, and I hate Big Brother by the way. Like you want to plant an avocado tree, you need to go and ask for the corporate. Like you want to
Yes,
fart just on your own properties, like someone else is watching you. I think
exactly.
body corporates for me, that's where the pain is. I enjoy the security. I enjoy knowing where my kids are. But in some cases, like I can't even put on my own Zozo. You know what I mean? I have to ask
Yes.
permission from someone else. And I think for that reason, I want to go and stay in those areas.
Those are some of the reasons, and also because the biggest issue, the biggest issue out of this is the issue of noise and party. And I'm
Right,
saying that
right.
because I've read several studies now to say in a complex, to a certain extent, you can be allowed to only have certain number of cars, you know, because there's not plenty of parking for everyone. When you do a party, most of us, and sorry to use this word, but most of us Black Africans, we like those parties that have a noise. We don't like a party as if we are mourning, like we are in a funeral, you know. We have to
No,
scream.
Dumisani. It's got nothing to do with race, bra. A nice party is a
Yeah.
nice party. Everyone wants to be there.
Yes, you see, so, and you do not want to be told that your noise level is too high, or you
Sure.
have to ask for a permission to say, on this day, I'll be making a 2-year party for my child. And that is a stress that a lot of people do not want. So others are happy on that environment to keep on asking permission from the big brother. Others just want to be the big brothers themselves so that they don't request anything, you see. So that is what, those are some of the differences, and those are some of the aspects that one can identify. And the other one is also road closures to a certain extent are also caused by that. In most neighborhoods, you end up having multi accesses. And if you were to chase someone who has committed a crime, then it becomes a challenge to say which way are they going to come out of.
Right.
That's another challenge that is there. So around, you know, there's more of them now, but around late 90s, people started to, you know, saying, why don't we do some road closures? Why don't we do some boom gatings and all of that? And I've even seen now when I drive in Tembisa, there's some townships or there's some sections within Tembisa where they are now even putting boom gates to say,
Really?
you can come in here and you are gonna go out again here. You register when you come in, and the security also even knows that within that block, if you are looking for Taurai is not in. So as far as I know, I saw his car going out, so I'm not going to allow you in unless phone him, give me the phone, let me speak to him, and he tells me that allowing you to come in. You see,
Yeah.
because the biggest thing is crime. People are doing this because crime has been bad in our country. So people are just trying to. They feel it's one way of protecting themselves, their families, and their assets.
So security is not, so maybe I should say not security, but crime is not discriminatory. You know, it can happen to anyone, anywhere, and yeah. But here's two questions, Dumisani. My first question is it then good for, I mean, are there opportunities for me as a property investor to be buying properties in a road closures, or for me to actually put up a road closure in an area where I am? And I've always had a dream. Right. Don't laugh at my dream, but it's my dream. Ne? Okay. And one of my dreams was to actually just own a street. Right.
Possible.
I know. I'm working on it. Right. And I can change that street name to whatever to Taurai Street. Right. And boom it off. That's my idea. Now, if I do that, I have created what I want on that street. And whether it is in Tembisa, whether it is in the Babs, it doesn't really matter. The point is that I control that so I can create what I want. And basically, if you really think of it from the olden days, Dumi, that's how towns were kind of like built. You've got someone who's controlling a town and it comes through and they create something. That's why Sun City is there. Someone created, they thought of a Sun City, they created the ambience. That's why the other place I can think of is this place that is in Johannesburg, downtown. I am forgetting the name, it's slipping my mind. What is that name?
Which one?
Maboneng. There we go, great. So again, Maboneng was an old town, but someone else created something else, right? On top of that, and they created a different vibe. It started creating a different type of an asset, right? Where you had a lot of warehouses, now you've got buildings, and now you've got offices. so you can work, play, stay in the same arena. And I'm also almost thinking that, is this the beginning of road closures? Like, if we're talking just about crime alone, but there is like big brother or steps of all of these things. So, from an investment perspective, you could be pro road closures, or you could be anti, depending on the neighborhood where you are and what you're seeing in the neighborhood. Because that was a question that I had, like, is it really beneficiary to me as a property investor? And we've just spoken about it. Say, actually, it just depends on the area. It might be pro or it might be negative. But what is the process, though, to be done? If I want to do a road closure, so I've bought my street, I've just changed it into Tauraya. We will talk about how to change that street name from um, I don't know what street name. I was going to be a little bit naughty, but I won't be. But we will choose whatever street it was and we'll make it Taurai. And then thereafter, we close that road. Okay. Now,
Yes.
what is the process of getting my street? I think boom to off is different than road closure, isn't it? Road
Yes.
closure is boom, no entrance. Boom is it's controlled access. So we still allowing people to come in and go, and anyone can kind of like do that for as long as the people that are on the street have a discussion and they can fund that, all right? But now road closure, closing a road, what is the process and how can I do it? The reason, let's say it's crime.
Yes. So, just on your dream, you
Yeah,
can own a Taurai street, get a farm, develop a township. Once a township is there, it needs street names. Then you can name it after yourself, your grandmother, your grandfather, whomever. You can and make the entire township to be, to have names from your entire family. So
my
you have
dog and
names.
my cat together with my bed.
Exactly.
Away.
Exactly. Yeah, but okay. There's two processes of a street closure.
Mm.
One of them would be the booming off gates, booming off the road and having the access control.
Do you need
The
that?
other,
Do you need to request for permission for that?
yes, yes,
Oh,
because
okay.
remember, all the streets in all the township, unless in a complex or unless where there's a section 21 that has been registered, those are controlled by council. That's why they
Right.
are
Makes
maintained
sense.
and controlled by council. So if you close it without council permission, you'll be doing an illegal activity.
Sure.
So when you put the booming, you'll say, this is where we are going to have access. Then the rest of the roads, we are saying they are closed because we are going to cut them off. No one can come in there or use it anymore there to come in and out. So that you apply for what you call a road closure. The second one is where you have bought a property and this road has never been used in its entire life, or it has been used, then suddenly no one uses it anymore. It just gets cut off. Then you do what you call a road closure. You consolidate it to your property. Then it now becomes a formal property, which is consolidated to your property, which you will need rezonings and other things so that it shares the same zoning. Because remember, you cannot consolidate two different zonings. So a street, it's a zoning on its own. Okay, because
Okay.
it becomes a reserve. So because it's on a land, it's on a piece of land. Anything that
Yeah.
is on a piece of land will have a zoning. So the process of a street closure is this: you appoint a town planner, they prepare an application, you submit it to council to say we want to apply to do a road closure. Okay, then the critical departments that must comment, it's Johannesburg Road Agency because they are the custodians of all the road within the city of Johannesburg. It
Right.
must be city power and Joburg water because they might have services that run along that road. So if you cut it off and one day they want to do the maintenance, then what? Because there must be some form of a service level agreement to say, should there be a need for us to do maintenance and you have cut off, then who carries the cost after we have dug and fixed to repair everything else again and to rehabilitate the environment again to ensure that it will still look as it looked before. So your town planner would submit an application. Then it also has a public participation where you'll put a side notice on site, advertise it in the newspaper, send to that the people of that street. You'll have to send registered mails to them or deliver mails where they can sign, informing them that I'm closing that road because of A, B, C, D. Or if it's a community, it will mean you'll not need to send them letters because they have decided as a community to say, we are appointing Dumisani to do an application on our behalf. So all of them will have a form of a petition that they have signed to say, we have appointed him to assist us because we are facing challenges when it comes to crime, when it comes to this and that, and we felt that the better way for our community that the road must be closed. Then Joburg Road Agency will come and do an inspection. And they will even send an assessor. And also, remember, here you will also need a traffic impact engineer to come and check to say, what impact will your closing of this piece of a street or of a road have on the current traffic? Because some people might be using it as a thoroughfare or as a shortcut or as anything, they might be using it. So people will need to know to say, before we close it, what impact will it have? Wouldn't it be cutting people that can just travel easy to get to the other side because it is a simpler and a shorter way? You know, doesn't that piece of a road or street that you want to close carry traffic, especially in peak hours? Then if it does and you want to close it, what will be the alternative to that? Council assesses all of that before they give an approval. So they are not just because the community is complaining about crime and everything else, just gonna cut off the road and say, have it your way, but they'll have to change because the roads still contribute to the entire community, not only yourself in that particular street or that neighborhood, because it might have an economic importance. You know, it might carry a historic importance. You find that it contributed in the times of apartheid and all of this. So those are the things that get checked before a final decision is made to say this road is formally closed.
Mm. Sounds like a tedious process, though. How long does it take, though?
The process can take anything of a year to 24 months because
wow,
it depends also on the area, because sometimes you'll have major business people objecting because it might have an impact on their business. People used to use it to come to my shop. Now they have to take a long way to come to my shop. They might end up saying, no, I no longer go there. I'll look for another place somewhere. If I have a guest house that I'm running, what impact will it have on my guest house? Because if we have been closed and there's only one access point, every guest that comes has to stand at the gate, phone, we confirm. Some people, they might find it causes nuisance for them, it wastes their time. If there's a park that is a community park, it means you are now depriving other people in the surrounding to come and enjoy that park that you would have been closed when you closed those roads. So there's actually a whole lot of things that get taken into account. That's why the process becomes longer and a bit tedious, because it involves a whole lot of things. Because once it's made, for you to reverse it, it might be a challenge, because now you might end up having protests and a lot of things. So before council really takes that decision, it check and tick each and everything on the checklist.
Awesome stuff, Dumisani. And ladies and gentlemen, you might be like me in the future, or maybe even today, and you are thinking, how do I actually make my own street and close it, right? There is the process, there you got it. And out of this, you can literally appoint a town planner, and you can get a town planner to do a road closure for you. But it is not easy to just do a road closure. There is many hoops that you need to jump off for you to get it. But we have seen so many road closures in and around South Africa. And obviously, it means that they can be approved for whatever reason that you are going to be doing it. Well, there you've got it. My name is TJ. I'll check you out on the next video.